What up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This your boy Bangful B. I already gave you my spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine, and now here is my spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm going to review this movie with spoilers and all, and I'm really not going to do it's going to seem like it, but I'm really just going to highlight things within the movie that stood out to me the most. For the most part, cameos and small things here and there, but otherwise, yeah, let's spoil this movie. So yeah, if you have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, honest to God, get off your ass and go see it right now. Or if you're somebody that doesn't care about spoilers, hey, you're more than welcome. So let's get into Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, one of my hugest concerns about Deadpool and Wolverine, well, really with bringing Wolverine slash Logan back in general, was that they was going to undo the ending of Logan, and they really didn't. In fact, it was hilarious how they kind of did it, because in the beginning of the movie, we see Deadpool, he is at the gravesite that we saw at the end of Logan, and he digs up Logan's corpse, and it is just nothing but metal adamantium skull. And then he uses that to fight off the TVA that has come for him to the tune of NSYNC song Bye Bye Bye. Now, this has kind of taken a life of its own. It's like the song has found a second life thanks to this movie. Even on the YouTube channel and on streaming services, they renamed they renamed the song Bye 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 from Deadpool and Wolverine. And for me personally, that made my heart sing. And the sing was just kick ass and funny in itself. But a little fun fact for myself, NSYNC's No Strings Attached album, it is a guilty pleasure of mine. It is one of the first CDs I ever got back in the it's one of the first CDs I ever gotten back in the day, and as you can see, I have the CD still with me to this day, and so much that it's a guilty pleasure that I ended up buying it on vinyl. So yeah, just hearing that song in the movie, that got brownie points for me automatically. But I do like how in the beginning of the movie it does what the previous two movies did before, which is it starts us in the middle of the story and then it just goes back and catches us up to how we got to where we are. And this movie is no different. And we cut back to 2018 after he gets the time machine wristband from Cable, and he goes back and fixes some things, and then he goes to the sacred timeline, Earth 616, where he tries to become an Avenger, and that's where we meet Happy Hogan, the first of many cameos, which I really did not expect. But basically, I like how Deadpool he just wants to matter. He wants to be a part of something bigger, and then Happy Hogan he gives him basically the whole point of the movie is like you don't need the world. The world isn't gonna wait. But basically, I'm tripping over my words. He said something like you can't. The Avengers can't need you. The world has to need Deadpool. He said something like that. But Happy Hogan is the key to itself to the MCU, and I even like his office, and we get little Easter eggs here and there. But cut back to modern times, Deadpool, he's working as a car salesman, and we get to see all the other previous characters from the first two movies, and like Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Vanessa, which is something I did not expect to. Where they went with this relationship, I did not expect, in which the two of them broke up, but they're still on good terms, but they do come back in the end. But I do like that they did that, because it kind of makes the character of Wade Wilson grow a little bit. It gives him some character work in this ridiculous fourth wall breaking movie. But that doesn't last long. We know he gets abducted by the TVA, in which the TVA is from the Loki TV series. They do have a presence on this show, and like I said in my original review, they were just there to drive the plot forward, and you get Paradox, and then we even get a cameo from what's her name from the Loki TV series, not Renova Renslayer, but the other black lady that's on the show. But basically, they tell him that his universe is dying, but they want to keep Deadpool, and that his universe was centered around Wolverine, and that's the reason why his universe is dying. But Deadpool promises that if he can find a new Wolverine, then maybe his universe can survive. And that's what I mean by they don't undo the ending of Logan. They just go to different universes and find a different Logan. And I do like the scene. Like, we get to see Wolverine fighting the Hulk. We get the Hulk for a brief second. We even get a short Wolverine, and I'm glad they finally showed that, because it's like fans for years have been saying we want our Wolverine to be comic accurate, so therefore make him short. Well, the movie gave it to us, and yeah, it doesn't look that good, doesn't it? Yeah, that is the reality your brain just won't allow you to accept. But the biggest standout to me, as far as the different Wolverines, was Henry Cavill. And I even like how Deadpool commented, talk about, I just want to say on behalf of the universe, this feels right. And we'll even treat you better than those fucks down the street, referencing Warner Brothers and Henry Cavill's tenure as Superman with Warner Brothers. As far as the fourth wall breaks, that one got the biggest laugh out of me. But Deadpool does find another Wolverine, in which he gets that both of them, they end up getting sent to the void, and we get other cameos from the Foxverse like Azazel, Lady Deathstrike, the Russian, which is a Punisher character, which I did not expect. The Juggernaut is in this movie, but he's played by a different actor. But the fact that they even acknowledged the Juggernaut from X-Men: The Last Stand, that's cool. Pyro, I already had spoiled for me because of the trailers. He was in the trailers, but the fact that Pyro was in this movie, he was one of the highlights from the original X-Men trilogy. He's in this movie and he's used sparingly. Chris Evans is in the movie, and I'll admit this movie got to me because first I thought he was Captain America, but then the moment he says "Flame on," I'm like, oh. Now I'll admit I did forget to talk about the villain in this movie, Cassandra Nova. She is the twin brother. I mean, well, I'm sorry, not twin brother, but twin sister of Charles Xavier, Professor X, but he killed her in the womb, but she got pruned by the TVA and now she's a villain. She's out for revenge. Overall, I did like her in the movie. She's not a memorable villain, but as far as in context of the movie, I thought she worked. Dogpool. He's cute, and that's all I got to say. Anytime he popped on the screen, the person that I saw this movie with, she just shouted with joy every time he popped on screen. I'm like, you really like that ugly motherfucker, do you? And it's also even funny that he's owned by Nice Pool, which Deadpool was trying to kill every chance he got, just so he can get Dogpool. I do like both fights between Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought round one was cool, but my favorite one was round two, where they are fighting in the car. The entire second round, they are fighting in the car, and it's fun and creative. Now for the cameos that everybody was talking about. Jennifer Garner reprises her role as Elektra from the Daredevil movies in her Elektra movie. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but the fact that she reprised the role, awesome. Daphne King reprises her role as X-23 in the movie, and I like all the moments between her and Logan in this movie, and she definitely drives his story forward. I definitely did not expect Channing Tatum as Gambit in the movie because, fun fact, in case y'all didn't know, Fox is going to make a movie about Gambit and it's going to star Channing Tatum, but that movie never happened, and so it's cool that they get to make up on that promise with this movie, and it's a funny take. And I thought Channing Tatum, he did a pretty good comedic version of Gambit. But I gotta talk about the king himself, Wesley Snipes returning as Blade, which I definitely did not expect, though this is a spoiler that I had spoiled for me due to social media, and I even like the callbacks to some of the things I did, like when he said some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill, which that's one of my favorite lines from the Blade movies, and he still got it, and I even like the jab he makes at Disney, which is there will always be one Blade. We get the Deadpool corpse, particularly Lady Pool, who is played by Blake Lively, who is Ryan Reynolds' real life wife, and I thought that was pretty cute. And even during the climax of the movie, Wolverine, he does wear the actual yellow mask, and of course that made all the nerds sing. There were so many cameos and things happening in this movie, but the thing that really hit home for me was the montage during the credits, where they show behind the scenes footage of all the different Fox Marvel productions. When I saw that, I was like, oh damn, it really is the end of an era. And also, like, Warner Brothers, y'all couldn't have done that for the DCEU. But to me, that montage was pretty much a way for the fans to have closure to the fact of we're not going to see these versions of these characters again, and it really is the end of an era, and it all started with the original X-Men. I remember I watched the original X-Men on VHS back in the day, which I still have to this day. And then, yeah, the Fox Marvel brand, they've had some highs and they've had some lows, especially with the Fantastic Four movies, but the ones with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, I do have fond memories of, and I remember playing the video game on the Xbox, and they gave me this sample CD of the soundtrack. I have fond memories with really all these movies, both for good and bad reasons, and it really is bittersweet because we would not have the superhero movie renaissance we have today if it wasn't for these batch of movies. And to anyone both in front of and behind the camera of all of these movies, whether they were good or bad, I just want to say thank you. But that's my 2 cents on some spoilers from Deadpool and Wolverine. Tell me, what did you think of this movie? And between this movie, X-Men 97, and the Wolverine video game we're getting later on this year, it's definitely a good year to be an X-Men fan.